Hello and welcome to Judy's Creations in Crochet. And today is August the 29th, 2024. And I want to welcome all of you, whether you're a regular returning subscriber or you're just happened by chance to see me and you're new to my channel. I'd like to encourage all of you to give me a thumbs up and make a comment. I respond to every single one. And if you're new, possibly you would subscribe. I come once a week. I don't flood your inbox with lots of videos. I have a lot of, I think, catching up kind of things to do today. But just before I start all of that, I just want to mention that I don't know if this is going to look different or not, but I am trying out using my phone to videotape this simply because I always use my iPad, and right now my iPad is downloading or saving, I should say, saving a very large file. I did a tutorial and I'll talk more about that in a little bit, and I'm saving that file right now so that I can upload it hopefully later today. But anyhow, things we want to talk about. I always start with what I'm wearing, but what I'm wearing is nothing different than what I often wear. Although it is very uncomfortable, hot, miserable outside, even though it's fairly early in the morning. We just had a rainstorm, and I apologize. You might hear some thundering and rumbling throughout this video because it's thundering out there. We're going to get more rain. But even though it is miserable outside, I'm down in a lower level in my home, and it gets cool down here. So I put on this shawl that I wear quite often. It is made with latte cakes, and it is the Agatha's Reading Shawl by Ophelia Talks. And this is one of my favorite shawls. I think I've made 2, maybe I've made 3, and I will likely make more. So most of you have heard about it in the past. I won't say any more, but I will link it in the description box below for any newcomers that may not be familiar with this shawl. And it may not stay on for the whole video. We'll see how it goes. So things I want to catch you up about. The first one, I don't have anything to show, but I did tell you and showed you a picture last week of a poncho that I made for Diane at My Pink Bathtub Knits. And she actually invited me on to her video in celebrating her birthday on Monday. And after she opened her birthday present, she modeled the poncho. So if you want to see it, I will link that particular episode from her Monday video. Then you'll get to see the poncho that I made. The next thing I want to again mention briefly is the this shawl. I showed it to you a while back, and I talked about it in depth. And it is a shawl I did as a tester for Mariana Mueller. And you know I've done a focus on Mariana. And this is the shawl, and you would have seen it. And I got notification that she will be releasing it, posting it on Ravelry either today or tomorrow. So after I see that it is on Ravelry, I will go into my description box and update it with a link to this pattern in case you are interested in it. So just wanted to mention that because I did say that it would be released later in the month, and I got notification that that's happening this week. So that's all done. Next thing, I had many comments on my cowl. You'll see this again when I do the slideshow. I've been getting people submitting pictures for the summer cowl, and here is the cowl I did with all the different stitches. You can see them as I turn it around. I finished off all the ends, and after sitting on it for a bit, not literally, I sort of changed my mind on how I felt about it. I kind of like it. And it certainly feels nice. It will feel nice against the neck for somebody. And I had the suggestion made that the nice thing about it is that you can turn it to whatever mood you're in. You can change the stitches on the front by turning it around. Very good idea. Thank you for that suggestion. I am going to take it to the craft show in the fall and see if it might sell, since it is a neutral color and very comfy and cozy. So I have finished it. I am happy with it now. And if it didn't sell, I guess I would be happy to wear it myself, although I don't wear cowls very often. So that's another thing that is finished. And while we're talking about the summer cowl, you are starting to run short of time. You have until September the 8th to get your pictures in. I think I have 7 or 8 submissions, maybe 9 submissions to it, which to me is very good. Because first of all, it's an extra cowl on top of the monthly one, and a lot of you do my monthly one pretty regularly, so to do another one, although it had more time, pleases me. Also, I'm thinking back to last summer, and I don't know why I think, I guess I should go back and look at the video, that I only got 6 or 7 submissions last summer. So I think I have more already than I did last summer. And you still have, 2 weeks, maybe a wee bit less than 2 weeks, but close to that. So some of you I know are working on it, and we'll get something in soon. So I'm really happy with that. And on the 12th, which is 2 weeks from today, I will be doing the slideshow of the submissions that I get for the summer cowl. The deadline is already gone by. It was yesterday for this month's cowl, this month's mal, I should say, and some very interesting different projects again. So I will be doing an extra video on Sunday. Sunday is September the 1st. I better just double check my calendar. Going by memory is not a smart idea for me. August ends on Saturday. So yes, the 1st is on Sunday. So Sunday you can expect another video from me. It will be our beginning of the month video. You'll have the slideshow. And then what you're all waiting for is the bird of the month. Now keep in mind, it's September, so that might clue you in a bit as to what colors to expect. So that's that all up to date. What I have been working on, and I've spent a lot of time working on this past week, and that is, I showed you the beginning of it last week, and that is I made, or designed, you might say, a blanket for Boggy Creek. I'll put that out of the way. too many things in here. And here it is. I can only show it to you bits and pieces because it is far too big for me to show here. But when I'm done showing it to you, I had a number of suggestions. And one was because I talked about putting extra black in the middle between the top and bottom rows. And I did do that. A number of you agreed with me that you like blankets that are more rectangular, so taller than they are wide. So, you know, a square is fine for a child. But when they get a little bit bigger, they need some length. So that was one suggestion. You agreed with that. The suggestions about extra at the top, I had people suggest that I put a couple rows at the top of the squares and that I use the opposite colors from those two squares. And I did that, and I think I have a picture to insert here to show you when I did it the first time. And I liked the look of it, but it wasn't extending the blanket enough. And I didn't want to make this middle section huge. And I also thought that the stripes were a little too close to the squares, that they needed a break from the squares with some black. And it was suggested that I use the opposite colors. So if the top is pink and purple, I use the blue and teal. And at the bottom, I do it again using the opposite colors. So I took out those rows because I thought, although they look nice, I thought they were a little too close to the squares and I had more space. I could extend it more. So here it is, what I call the top. And I use these two colors on top of the pink and purple. And you can see I did take it out and I added 3 more rows of black. And then I went on to the 2 squares. And then I did 3 black at the bottom of the top section. And then I put 3 rows on top of the bottom section, if you follow all of that. And then I have the other 2 squares. And finally, at the very bottom, we have 3 rows of black and the pink and purple stripes. And this worked out to almost the perfect size. I haven't measured again after I blocked it, but I did block it. And it did a nice job of flattening out the squares because they were kind of puckered. So I'm going to right now insert a picture of this on the blocking boards. I'll keep talking, but I'll cover with the picture. And when I measured it there, it was awful close to the 40 by 50, might have been 39. But then you measure it another time and it's 37. I don't know how that happens, but it did flatten out the squares. And I think I'm within the Boggy Creek requirements size-wise. So I will be sending this to Boggy Creek to somebody eventually. I might send it to Juan, the yarn addict, because he's closest to me. But I am going to be doing, I have done a tutorial on this blanket, and that took a lot of time this weekend. And that's what's being saved right now on my iPad, so I can't use it. And after I'm done saving it, I then have to upload it to YouTube. And excuse me for a second. That is going to take quite a long time to upload to YouTube. So it is very, very close to 2-hour tutorial. But that's because I first have to take you through the steps of making that square. and there are several steps to making the square. Then I take you through the step of joining two squares side by side, joining these two squares together, and of course you do the same for the bottom. After you get the squares joined, and some of these things you probably know, you don't need to see a tutorial on, but there might be fairly new or novice crocheters that would like the full explanation. So after you join them, I then explain how to put the border across the top, and it's a little bit different when you get to the middle. So I show in steps how to get the rows on the top, and once I show you one row, the rest are all the same. I start from that side every time. I started here and went back and forth. Then I started green here, black here, blue here, and black here. So I show you how to do that. I also explain you do the same method in the middle to put those rows on, and of course at the bottom you do the same thing. And I show you I do talk about picking the right corner so that everything is done on the front. There's only 1, 2, 3, 4 rows that will be not on the right side when you do these 3 rows and you go this way, back, and this way, because I did not want to cut it and waste the time and do more ends. And I thought 1 row in the middle of these 2 backwards isn't going to be terribly noticeable. And it happens at the top, in the middle twice, and at the bottom. But the rest, everything else faces the front, the way the square was made. So after I tell you how to put all these rows on, I then do an explanation of joining the top row and the bottom row. And I do that because I used something fuzz in my mouth. I used one method to join down the middle, the 2 sides, and I used a different method to join the top strip and the bottom strip. And after having done that, I now know that I prefer the method I used to join it across the middle, the top row to the bottom row. And that took quite a bit of time. And then, of course, I talk a wee bit about blocking it. It had to be blocked. I don't generally block blankets, but this one had to be blocked because those squares were not lying flat. So I did a tutorial on this, and it is my hope that this tutorial will be available later today. Not today in my time, but today after you get this video. I think I'm going to upload this tutorial the same day. So you're going to get lots of notifications. You got today's, you'll get the tutorial, and then Monday, of course, you'll get the first of the month. So very, very busy this weekend, which is unusual with me. So that is done. And on top of that, it seems that Boggy Creek, the Boggy Creek Blanket Brigade, do a live every Wednesday. I think it circulates as to whose channel it is on, and they show the blankets they have received for that week. And on that live, they will also bring on any content creators that have designed a Boggy blanket. So I've been in conversation with Diane at Nina's Knots Crochets, and she is talking to the brigade, to the team, to find out when I'm going to be featured on their Wednesday night live. So you might want to keep an eye out on, it's Linan and Nancy and Lynette and Juan I will put links to their 4 channels in my description box today. So you might want to keep an eye out for that particular video, and I will be featured on it for a couple of minutes to mention my blanket. So I'm kind of happy and excited about that. And if any of you decide to make this, and I give quite a few alternatives, options of ways to make it. I happen to use, and I showed you this last week, I happen to use these 4 skeins. They are all Red Heart Super Saver Ombre, and this one is in the color Deep Teal. That's what it is. It's teal. Sorry about that. This one is called Anemone. It's sort of a pink. This one is called, I got strands all over, Violet, I believe. Yes, this one is Violet. And the last one, and I took the middle out because I didn't want to start from the middle, so I took it out, started farther on. This one is called True Blue. So those are the 4 colors that I used, but naturally, you don't have to use what I did. I kind of like the ombre effect, although it didn't turn out exactly as I expected it to. But there are other colors in the ombre if you have a different taste than I do. There are a lot of different options with this blanket of things you could do. And I talk about them in the tutorial if you're interested in doing this. You know, right from making one big square and sending in a square blanket to, you know, different ways to change the colors. So that's what I have been very, very busy with this last week. I'm still, the verdict is out if I will do a second row around the border. It doesn't look bad there, but at the other end, it looks a little bit wavy. I think this other side is the worst. Oh, not bad. I don't know. If I get in the mood, I might do a second round, but I am ready to move on. See, there's where it doesn't look the best. But, I mean, it's kids, and I don't think they're going to notice a little item like that. I am a little bit tired of this project after making it, and then I had to make another big square, and doing all the videotaping, I'm ready to move on to another project. So that's what I have been busy with for most of the last week. I never had any time at all to spend on the shawl I told you about. I think it's called Awakening from EFA. I haven't done a thing on it, but tonight, I will get back to it. And hopefully I'll spend most of the next week working on that one. And I'll have that to show you next week. And I'm just going to show you quickly. I won't go in depth because you will see this on Sunday. But here is the item I made for the month. I finished that. And there are the 3 colors that I was using to go with the bird. And it is, very quickly, it is a shawl. And I think it's just called the Happy Shawl. And I will talk about it in a little more depth on Sunday before the slideshow. I'll talk about what is in the shawl, and I'll talk about the yarn. But that got finished. It might have gotten finished a week ago. So we'll just move that out of the way. So that's a lot of items that I've shown you. And I've also selected what we're going to be looking at next year for our monthly inspiration. I won't tell you about that yet. I am going to try to use, won't be the next week. I got several videos to do, but maybe later in September or early October, I will start going through my stash, trying to pick out yarn for everything next month. And while we're talking about September, this is the very last episode in August. So starting next week, September the 5th, we have September the 5th, 12th, 19th, and 26th. We are going to be celebrating two things, my birthday and my podiversary, which are both in September. It is 3 years ago on my birthday that I started this this YouTube channel, and I'm really happy to still be going and to still be increasing my number of subscribers. And I believe this morning I saw that it was 1470, so 30 more to my next goal. So maybe sometime during the month we'll hit 1500. That would be great. And if we hit 1500, I'm going to have a little bit bigger giveaway than normally. So be staying tuned for that. And if you're new here, please think about subscribing. So as you can see, I like to show finished objects. That was my beginning focus at the beginning. When I first started the channel, that was my focus. I also have a focus of just trying to share my love of crochet and the things that I learn and new things, designers and patterns and so on. I like sharing that as well. And also, I like to share the purchases I make in yarn. And please don't think that I am a yarn snob. As you see, I just did a blanket with Red Heart Super Saver, and I have yarn from Karen and yarn from Lion Brand and other, I guess you call big box store, department store yarns. But keep in mind, I'm coming to you from Southwestern Ontario in Canada, and we do not have access to Joann's and Hobby Lobby. So I don't have access to those yarns, and I don't make trips across the border, and no real way to get yarns from those stores. So there are yarns that you use and love, like I love this yarn, I believe is a Hobby Lobby yarn. I don't use those. I do use the others, and I particularly use the acrylic yarns to make the shawls that I put in our donation box. Haven't made any of those lately. It's been so hectic here. But my real love is hand-dyed yarns. I really, really like the yarns with all of the other fibers. So that is what I focus on my channel. You can see lots of people on unboxing Premier and things from Hirschner's and Lion Brand and things from Hobby Lobby and Joann's. I think that's basic. You can see lots of channels showing you those yarns. I don't buy a lot of them. I do have a lot in the house, and I gave away a lot of them when I did the mystery boxes. So I focus on hand-dyed yarns. And this past week, I made several purchases because I hadn't bought anything in a while. Now, they aren't all here at the moment, but a couple of them are. So I want to share those with you before I finish today. The first one is I happened across a company called Hamster's Yarns CA, and I saw them on Etsy. There's their name, Hamster Yarns CA. That's for Canada, not California. And I bought 2 yarns because I saw something that piqued my interest. Of course, you know, they look different on a picture on screen than when you get them. But both of these yarns are 75% merino superwash and 25% polyamide. And there's 420 meters, so that'd be 460 some odd yards in a skein. And here's the one that caught my attention. I thought it was grays or blues, and it is, that right there looks bluish, but it is a gray. And I got it just because I kind of liked it's neutral, and it will go with some others. It looked very soft. Now, this yarn is not as soft as a number of yarns I have worked with. And the second one I got is this. And they are located in Calgary, Alberta. As you know, I'm focusing on Canadian yarns because our exchange rate, nothing against American yarns, I have a lot of beautiful American yarns, but our exchange rate is just horrendous. When you're paying 42% on the dollar, you got to think twice about buying it. So here is the second one I bought, and it seemed to be, again, somewhat neutral, and it had a lot of splashes in it. I kind of like that. I can put it with some of my solids, a little bit of yellow that, you know, doesn't grab me. But I mean, it seems to have fall colors in it. So I could put that with a very nice brown, and that would look quite nice. So those are the 2 that I got from Hamster Yarns. Hamster Yarns CA. They are in Etsy, and I will link them down below. And unfortunately, they don't put a band, a ball band or anything on them. And that's always a problem because it's pretty hard to keep this with both skeins of yarn and know what you have later. Anyhow, there they are. And then I think I mentioned last week that because I hadn't bought much yarn lately, and I received an email from Ravenswood, and they are, I have a feeling they are still my favorite Canadian dyer. They are on the East Coast. They are, I think they're back in Nova Scotia. It says New Brunswick on their tag. There's their tag. I've always really, really liked their yarn. It is, even though it is 85-15 merino nylon blend, it is always softer than most other yarns that I get. So I really, really like them. And I have made a number of my fashion scarves. This got pushed. Sorry, I'm going to put it back. I have made a number of my fashion scarves with their yarn, and, you know, they're really nice to wear. So I got an email, and I actually looked at it this time because typically I try not to look too closely at it because I'm trying to not buy too much yarn and shop my stash, although it is my collection. And this time I weakened and I looked at the email, and then I went on their site, and since I haven't bought in a while, there were a number of colors that I really liked, and I decided, what the heck, I'm going to get them. So I have a number of skeins of yarn from Ravenswood, and I'm going to show them. I have 5 of them, actually. What would you like? I have a little fella here that I think he wants to be up here. Move the blanket. Okay. Do you want to come up and say hello to the people? There. He wants to say hello. Yeah. Sorry about that interruption. I had somebody tell me they enjoyed seeing my co-host and that I should do a little video of him and insert it in one of my weekly videos. He doesn't do anything exciting to videotape, but maybe one week, sometime during the month of September, I'll insert a couple of pictures so you can see a few things. So let's look at the yarn. That's what we're here for. We're here to see yarn. So here's one of them. They are all the same. They are all from Ravenswood. They are all a 85-15 blend. They are all 400 meters, which is 437 yards. It's just different colors. And this one I don't think will surprise you too much. It has a little more burgundy in it than some, but it has the teals and the blues that I like. And this one is called Butterfly Wings. Yeah. So I'm really liking that, and I'm really thinking I want to find just a plain burgundy to put with it. I'm at the point where I'm really wanting to put 2 and 3 skeins of things together to make items rather than single skeins. Although I have a couple of skeins. I was looking through my Ravenswood when I got these, and I came across a few single skeins that I want to work with real soon and make me some of those scarves, a C.J. Brady scarf or maybe one from Carmen Heffernan. Anyway, that's the first one. Now, this one is going to surprise you. Here is the second one. But I do love a good autumn color, and this one's called Painted Autumn. Again, this could go with a nice dark brown, maybe, a very dark brown with it. And if I don't have a dark brown, I'll get one. A little bit pinky peachy there, but mostly orangey. It just looks like fire to me. Then the next two won't surprise you. My 2 favorite colors. So there's one in blues with grays. I really like blues and grays. And this one is called Jay. I'm just thinking now, she always has an inspiration picture. So if I'm able to capture her inspiration pictures, I might just put them in beside so you can see what a nice job she does. But this had a beautiful blue jay, and I love blue jays. We do get them here, not a lot because I don't feed the birds, but jays and cardinals are very common here. So that is quite pretty. Blues and charcoals and light grays. Next one again is very much my color. Most of the time when I buy purples, they're often mixed in with a blue or something like that. But this one is all purples and it's called Violets. A lot of beautiful purples in there. And this one I'm tending to think I'll do all by itself and just make a lovely purple scarf. Isn't that pretty? Look at all those different purple colors. But as much as I really do like this one, you know I would with these colors, it's not my favorite. I'm thinking, although it really comes close, I'm thinking the favorite one I got is this one I saved till the last. I really like this combination of pinks and browns. And if I have a pink that goes with this, that matches this, I had a lot of pinks, but I don't know if I have anything as delicate as that pink, then I would put it with this. But if not, I would very happily just do this one by itself, a single skein scarf. And it is called BFF. I really, really, really like that one. It's very unique. And it's got some black in it too. Black, different shades of brown, and that nice, pretty soft, romantic, pale pink. So that's what I got from Ravenswood. And as I mentioned, having received them, it made me get out my Ravenswood box and go through it, because I haven't done anything with that yarn in a while, and there are some there that I want to get at right away. I also found a few that I thought I would share with you. So they're going to go into the birthday month celebrations. And that is it. I did make another. Actually, I made 2 more orders. One, I ordered yarn from a company I saw at Knit City, Toronto. I remember showing you a picture of yarn I wanted to get, but I said, I've got enough yarn and I will get it later. And I decided it was time to get it now. They might not have it at a later date. So I dug out the picture and the information I wrote down, and I ordered it, but they told me they were out of stock on one of them and would be re-dyeing. So I said I would wait, and it will come at the end of September, probably, when they re-dye it. I'll get those 2. They're a little bit different. And finally, a company I show you regularly. I am, you might say, subscribed, although you have to do it yourself monthly. Go in and get the mystery yarn from Color of My Fiber. I talk about them every month. I get the mystery skein every month. And somebody out there who I'll allow to remain anonymous is quite an enabler, and happened to know and therefore told me that she was having a big sale. So I went to her Etsy shop, and it was 30% across the board. Well, you know, that's a really good deal on hand-dyed yarn. And you know how much I like her merino cashmere silk. I get that most of the time in the monthly skein. So I did some serious damage there, and I suspect they will be in the mail probably in the next week. And so I'll have that to show you. I may not show it all at once. I'll have that to show you in September. Well, that's all we have to talk about today. Lots coming up. A tutorial later today. And on Sunday, we will have our beginning of the month slideshow, which I know you'll be looking forward to. And keep an eye open. I don't know when I will be on a guest on the live with the Boggy Creek Brigade. If it doesn't happen till after next week, I'll be able to tell you on my next video. But it might even happen next Wednesday, and I don't do a video before then. Well, I could tell you at the beginning of the month if I know. So that's it for today. Lots of finished items, lots of new yarn. And remember, I'm still looking for your items for the summer cal up until September the 8th. So hopefully I will be getting more submissions yet before that gets here. Oh, and I really want to stress how much I hope that you will all do a submission in September. I will talk about it more on Sunday, but September, I have a goal I hope you'll help me reach of having 50 people submit an item for the slideshow for the month of September. I think that would be awesome. So, in the meantime, happy hooking.